Hey everyone, it's Jack and Sam from Cultaholic.com, and in the words of the Backstreet Boys, oh my god, we're back again. Brothers, sisters, everybody sing. There's only one news piece today, but it's a big one, so we're going to talk about that right now. We take a look at the breaking news that wrestling is returning to TNT in the form of All Elite Wrestling. So yeah, this is pretty breaking news. It was just announced on Twitter from All Elite Wrestling and TNT themselves as well that they're going to be doing a weekly show.
Yeah,
it's the 90s Sam
partnership. It's back. It's back.
You want a war, Spooky Fingers and all that.
Spooky
Imagine
Fingers.
if Scott Hall turns up on the first one. No, but it seems to be less of a like. Well, we'll read a little bit from the All Elite Wrestling's press release. We'll read a little bit of the comments from Tony Khan that I've seen on the New York Post's website. Yeah. And then we'll take a look at All Elite's, I guess, mission statement as well, because it's not so much we're going to take you on, it's more this is an alternative.
Yeah, and it offers a couple of insights into what All Elite's going to be and how it's going to work in a way. And also it's important to note that this is all ahead of Warner's Upfront later on, and the Upfront is going to be where I think a lot more of this will be discussed, but because this news is broken now, we wanted to get it to you straight away, hot off the presses.
Absolutely. So as I said, this comes via both All Elite Wrestling and TNT. Apparently there's going to be a weekly show, we don't know what day of the week yet, on TNT Drama, which, after a little bit of confusion, we realised is just what TNT's...
Yeah, I think TNT, as far as I'm aware, it shows movies and sometimes like old TV shows, and it did or does have links to sport. I think it's got some links to the NBA still. It had at one point, way back in the 90s, I think some links to NFL. It does show sport, so it is a network where, you know, AEW will be among sport. This is the first time that wrestling is going to appear on TNT since March 2001, almost 2 decades ago, which was, of course, the final Nitro broadcast, which is pretty historic, to be honest. And even though we don't know how good or how well people are going to take to All Elite Wrestling yet, it's still a major step towards, you know, getting some viable competition for WWE. Tony Khan, the president and CEO of All Elite Wrestling, of course, says the wrestling fans have wanted and needed something different, authentic and better for far too long. AEW is answering the call. AEW is about more than wrestling. It's about a movement fueled by wrestling fans who have been undeserved and perhaps even disappointed by what the industry has produced in recent years. Also, Michael Quigley, the Executive Vice President of Commercial Operations, Content Strategy and Monetization at TBS and TNT, says All Elite Wrestling, so this is from the TNT side of things, All Elite Wrestling is a talent-forward, fan-first league whose inclusive approach to creating high-quality athletic wrestling competition is already making waves with fans and attracting top-tier wrestlers. So it seems as though TNT are fully on board. They're aware of how well All In was received. They're aware of the big names associated with All Elite Wrestling, you know, Jericho, Cody, Omega, the Bucks, and all that sort of thing. And even in the kind of press release bit, there was a little sort of explanation for people who might be unfamiliar of what AEW is, and it basically name drops all those people. It says it's headlined by the Elite, names them all, and Chris Jericho as well. So I think they understand that you've got to kind of have big names in first to draw an audience. Yeah, I really like the idea that you know, they're pushing it as a hard alternative. It's there for, as he said, as Tony Khan said, fans who have been underserved and disappointed with what's been happening in the wrestling industry.
Oh, underserved.
Yes,
I said undeserved. I was like, what's got underserved? Yep, there you go.
So I think it's very much going to be us versus them, by the looks of things.
Well, this sort of thing. I think so. What are we doing? We're just in between going,
yeah, we're just sort of covering it all.
Yes, and we as fans as well, we're just in between. And obviously, more competition means a more exciting time for wrestling fans.
Yeah, a rising tide lifts up all boats.
Yes.
So.
Now, as a very wise man once said to us, I think it was Scott D'Amore who said that from Impact. Now, there's going to be a bit of sort of unexpected changes regarding where they'll be broadcasting the big pay-per-view shows like Double or Nothing in May, Fyter Fest in June, and Fight for the Fallen in July.
We should add as well, the big speculation is that the weekly TV show is on a Tuesday. They did register the rights to Tuesday Night Dynamite, and obviously with SmackDown moving to Fridays, then there's a big old gap on a day that usually has wrestling there that makes sense for them to fill.
But that hasn't been confirmed yet.
It hasn't been confirmed, that's the big rumour.
But at the same time, Triple H did recently announce that there'll be a sort of studio show somewhere on the Fox network.
It's on FS1.
FS1
on a Tuesday, which seems a little bit combative. It seems a little bit like, well, we're going to do this to try
your option there is you either watch AEW and have exciting wrestling, or you watch some people sit around and talk about what happened on Raw and SmackDown.
Maybe. I wonder if they'll get Pat McAfee involved in that, because that's his sort of thing.
Possibly.
Isn't it? Like
when it was announced, it sounded more like it would just be all outsiders.
Oh, really?
Just, like, sort of make it feel more legit. But
it would make sense for WWE to do that, but the speculation, as Sam said, is that All Elite's weekly show will be on Tuesdays. But yes, in terms of the sort of online streaming partner for All Elite Wrestling, in the United States, at least as far as we know so far, that'll be BR Live, which is Bleacher Report, which you were saying
is owned, I think, by the Warner Group. So it makes sense as to why. Yeah, Warner Media, if they own Bleacher Report and TNT's part of the Warner family, then it would go through BR Live. BR Live has, as far again as I'm aware, because being in the UK, it's like, you can't access this website. But I saw that they were showing like Champions League. They had Champions League football on there. They have a lot of sports. But with the interesting thing with BR Live is that it doesn't seem to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem to be a monthly subscription service. It seems to be, because with the Champions League, it was like $3 per game or $79 for all of them.
Right.
And so I think the way we might see AEW deliver its pay-per-views will be maybe like, $15 for a pay-per-view, or like $100 for the year, or whatever. Like, but you'll save. If you get a season pass, you'll save a bit of money.
If you're a UK viewer and you want to watch Double or Nothing, that'll be ITV
box office, yeah.
Which we weren't aware was a thing until...
I knew it was a thing for boxing, I just didn't realise that it was ever going to be utilised for anything but that.
For those outside of the UK who don't understand why ITV is a pretty big deal for All Elite to be involved with, it's because you've got the BBC and then ITV are just below it. They're the second biggest multimedia network.
In terms of the way it goes, like BBC One, BBC Two, ITV was always Channel 3. So it's why Channel 4 is called Channel 4, because it was the fourth channel to sort of come on the airwaves. Plus, ITV has a massive international reach. It stands for independent television, or at least it originally did. And it's funded by advertisers. It's not funded by a TV license. It's a very, very big deal. Produces a lot of high-end dramas.
It has the
Downton
potential.
Abbey, and so like it's got a lot of global reach.
It has the potential to reach a lot of homes. But it all, of course, depends on how well All Elite Wrestling catches on. Now we're going to take a look at some other aspects of the statement.
Forgive
the press
Jack.
release.
He has to go on his phone because it was impossible to print off this statement because it was so small.
I'm not very tech savvy.
So
here we go. This is like kind of their mission statement, I guess.
Yeah, it fills in, as I said, a little bit of what we can, I guess, expect from AEW and it's the way it's going to work as a brand.
Yes. So, focused on producing fast-paced, high-impact competitions, All Elite Wrestling offers fans less scripted, soapy drama, and that is a bit, and more athleticism and real sports analytics, bringing the legitimacy to wrestling that it has not previously had, like ever, I guess is the implication. Wrestlers will also be given more freedom to explore their characters and highlight their athletic abilities. Introducing statistics to wrestling for the first time ever, All Elite Wrestling will raise the stakes for its matches and deepen fan engagement by tracking each competitor's wins and losses as the wrestlers pursue championships, analysing their moves, assessing damage to their opponents, and providing insights into their winning streaks. So it sounds like this is very much the sports end of sports entertainment.
It's going to be UFC meets wrestling, I think, is the way we're going to sort of have it look, and it'll be very much you've got to climb the mountain to get to the belt. I think with the wins and losses thing, it would make the most sense if they reset at the start of every calendar year. If that's the all-in event, and that's the start of the whole thing each year, then I guess, like, because obviously WrestleMania resets everything in April. Like, All In could be the thing that resets for AEW. I think it makes sense to reset there because otherwise we're going to end up with like he has 485 career wins and it would cloudy things up and it would.
I like the idea that I hope that in doing this and in making it in presenting it more as a sports type thing, they don't lose so much, like they don't lose entirely the soap opera edge of wrestling, because that is what makes wrestling as well.
I hope there's a nice mixture. It needs that element of soap opera and a little bit of drama, but
because even New Japan does that really well. They've got a really sports orientated thing. There's press conferences. People, are kind of treated as sportsmen in New Japan rather than entertainers, but. They do still call each other out or have a little brawl.
The storylines are always laser focused.
Yes.
And that's what I think WWE has lost in a way over time, is that laser focus on this person is going after that belt, this person's going after that belt. These two groups of people don't like each other.
On the main roster anyway. In NXT they do it really well. But it's a very exciting time. I wonder how sort of this is going to, because one thing that I'm really sad that I missed out largely, I got into wrestling in 2000,
Yeah.
and I was too young to understand. I barely even knew that it was scripted. I sort of didn't really understand the whole backstage aspect of it, like this guy's X-Pac's jumped to WWF, what's going on? And will we see that now? Will this open up a whole new dynamic of us analysing wrestling, like who's going to jump, who's going to move?
Well, this is it, like what's going to happen with the industry and with this sort of money behind them. You know, are WWE going to try and retain talent as they've been doing with people like Luke Harper? Is the Luke Harper thing sort of a thing to send a message to anybody that is going to try and leave? Are they even going to be able to really do that when if there's ever a viable competition? Because it's a case of, well, if you don't want to be here, go there. Or is it, no, you're not going anywhere? It's
really strange and interesting. And I think as well, we might see, because WWE, of course, we should point out, has still, despite Tony Khan and the Khan family and all their wealth, WWE still has a massive financial edge.
Oh, God, yeah.
And also they have an existing huge fan base that All Elite Wrestling really doesn't have yet to that degree.
Yeah, the thing that I was really enjoying about the press release was that they said they want to make it more accessible and more easy to just pick up.
Right.
Which I think, if one of the big turn-offs, I imagine, for people that don't watch wrestling is if they tune in halfway through a feud, and it's all, why don't these people like each other? And you've got to sit and you've got to Google it and you've got to work it out. And because of the way things have been, they'll have been feuding on and off for 6 years. So it's like, what reason is it? And then, so if it's an easy pick up and go style presentation, I think that'll serve them well.
I think also another thing that'll serve them well, I did mention that WWE has the financial edge, but All Elite Wrestling, and it's an advantage that'll diminish over time, but they have the freshness. Everyone's so excited, they've got all the momentum. I mean, people have been getting criticised for getting too excited about All Elite Wrestling before they've even really done anything, but I think it's totally valid.
The financial edge for WWE, though, is like, isn't Tony Khan worth, as a person, Shahid Khan worth almost as much as a person that WWE is as an industry?
Right, really? I've got no idea about that, but right. Well, it just, I guess, depends how much he's willing to invest in it.
Yeah.
But, or how much his son's willing to invest in it. But no, it's a very exciting time. I really don't know quite what to make of it yet, but as Sam mentioned, the Warner Media upfronts are today, and I think 3 p.m. our time, 10 p.m. 10 a.m. Eastern.
10 a.m. Eastern, yeah.
No?
I think. Yeah, it was 10 a.m.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
15 past.
Yeah. And I just wonder how much more we'll learn in a few hours' time.
Well, this is it. They could announce the show. They could drop. We could be back on your screens again in a few hours' time. But we'll keep you posted with all of the news as and when it's dropping about AEW. Also, nice little touch I liked, and because it's on the screen between us, is that when TNT did the big announcement, it's like, well, back in the wrestling business. That was the tweet. It had the fire like behind the AEW logo, like the old Nitro logo. I love that.
And there's been a few people have already been joking around on social media. Conrad Thompson tagged both Eric Bischoff and Tony Schiavone, both men who are WCW through and through.
Yes,
but no, I think that All Elite, to sort of try and summarise it, is so promising because it's such a good mixture of old and new. You do have people very experienced in the business, like JR. Earl Hebner's just been announced today or last night as one of the referees, but Billy Gunn's
gone backstage. You've got Jerry Lynn. You've got all sorts of people.
But with that as well, you've got fresh, exciting talent. We've got some wrestlers that I'd never heard of when they were announced. So I can't wait to see how it all meshes together and whether it works or not.
I really hope it works.
Me too. For the good of the industry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments section down below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter @Cultaholic and on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do, then please do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can pledge. And don't forget, of course, most importantly of all, to hit subscribe and to join us.